Hello, let's see the new lesson. In this lesson, we'll learn why UX has become indisciplinable. Let's see the outline of the course which we are going to take a look. First, user experience and why do we need UX? What can user experience do? What user experience is not or cannot do? Why user experience matters? Why do we care about UX design? Importance of user experience. CP&S hypothesis, proving the value, UX maturity model. Where does your company fit? Why invest in UX design? Changing lives with UX design. What UX designers should consider. And at last, how UX approaches and constructed. So this is an entire outline of the course. Let's take a look one by one. First we'll see user experience and why do we need UX. Like as you know, like you nowadays UX has become such a popular that every company or every product required a typical UX designer. So where a designer who can create a flowchart, wireframes, prototype, or a UI design, and who can play with the colors and who can understand the user feelings, looks, how the product looks, and many more. If you see, UX is the totality of end users' prescriptions as they interact with a product or service. These prescriptions included effectiveness, efficiency, emotions, satisfaction, and the quality of the relationship with the entity that created the product or service. Encompasses all aspects of the end user's interaction with the company, its service, and its product. The term UX design is used to refer to the approaches and methods employed to make sure that product is entirely tailored and customized for its target market. If an online platform does not appeal to a certain type of audience, it is likely to be quickly forgotten. In this diagram, you will see in the first picture, it's look plus feel plus usability, which is user experiences. It aims to provide positive experience that keeps users loyal to the product or brand. Additionally, a meaningful user experience allows you to define customer journeys on your website that are most conducive to business success. Let's see, why do we need UX design? To put it simple, in another word, UX is important because it tries to fulfill the user's needs. It aims to provide positive experience that keep user loyal to the product or brand. Additionally, a meaningful user experience allows you to define customer journey or your website that are mostly connected to business success. What makes a great user experience? There is no right answer to this question. The truth is, user experience is different for everyone. The most important thing to remember when designing web and user interface is that you are not your users. Don't assume you know that they want or what they need. So never create any design by your own thinking. Nor never think that you are the end user. But before creating an user, you should understand your target audience. So, how do you define a great experience? Get close to your user, talk to them, watch them, use your product, get inside their head and ask yourself questions about their decisions. Your users are customers, will teach you. So pay attention, listen, observation and question. So here it says that if I want to define a great experience, then being as a designer or being as a UX designer, you should get closer to your user by talking, by understanding, by putting our attentions, by listening their words, by observations, and by interviewing them. So by doing this all, we can understand our user, which are the customer for us. Next, we'll understand user experience in design process. A valuable is described with a six things, which describable, findable, accessible, credible, useful, usable. Desirable image identity, brand, and other design elements are used to evoke emotion and ap- appre- appreciations. Findable means content needs to be navigable and locatable on-site and off-site. Accessible content needs to be access to people with disabilities. Credible user must trust and believe what you tell them. Useful your content should be original and fulfill a need of a user. Usable site must be easy to use. So combination of these six all things becomes a one valuable, so which is called a benefits of user experience. Next, we'll learn what can user experience do. The effectiveness of an online platform is depend on user experience. To put it simple, customer satisfaction is everything. A website must be easy to navigate, simple to operate, and often a user some kind of unique benefit or advantage. Without an angle or a strong selling point, a website can very easily fail. So, it is the responsibility of a UX specialist to come up with idea which increases the usability of a website. It is the job of this professional to make sure that all available content is pertinent, relevant and valuable. Otherwise, what reason could user have to interact with it? To do this all, we need match the real world, maintain consistency and standards, provide user control and freedom, provide flexibility and efficiency, help in error prevention, help users recognize, diagnose, and recover from error. We should be error free. Next, we'll see what user experience is not or cannot do. The fact of the matter is that not all UX approaches will work for all type of customers because people differ in so many ways, which are a particular promotional technique might work wonderful for one user but have very little impact on other. This means that it is always more successful to create for specific encounters and encourage specific actions than try to force an unsuitable approach on any unwilling audience. It is also not possible to imitate the UX approach used for another online platform because all websites offer a user experience which is unique to them. If you do not cater to the product, resources, skills, tools, and benefits of your own enterprises, you cannot accept to hold the interest of new visitors. It is equal impossible to calculate the value of an online platform with the sole use of data like bounce figures, page visits, and conversation statistics. It is okay to generate estimates and even to desert help from users, but there is as yet no tool which can directly process user encounters. While list usability and UX have become increasingly intertwined, they are not the same thing. The UX-based approaches are designed to consider how a user feels about a particular service or online resource, but usability levels refer to how quickly and easily they can learn how to operate an online platform. Next, we'll learn why user experience matters so much. Because have you ever wondered at what point within the literal universe we actually manage to process the incredible amount of data found online? Well, the answer is nowhere, and it is precisely why the online universe is such an innovative environment. It also explains why UX has always been so essential for the design of appealing and attractive online platform. It highlights and promotes the product and become a key part of business. Sorry, building and growing customer confidence. A great product or compiling content without an appealing user experience may affect the ability of an organization to achieve its business goal. It can retain the existing users and attack the new one in this competitive world. UX can recognize the impact it can have no long-term business success, which is like if you see on a diagram, A 30%, B 70%. Why do we care about UX? If you see the diagram, it says increases number of users from A to B. Next, why do we care about UX? Poor UX means people won't use your product. So people will call tech support. People won't use it even when it works and will return it. People won't buy your product and worse, will tell their friends not to use it. Measure by negative impact or net promoter score, which is NPS. Our aim is to create a system that delights the user. Next, we'll learn why invest in UX. A brand loyalty. If users are satisfied with the experience they have with your product, they are more likely to continue using it and recommended your business to others. Better UX builds brand advocates, increase revenue and conversations. Better UX is equals to more $3. UX is about facilitating the end goal of your user, and if that goal coincides with purchasing something from you, then it simple makes financial sense to invest in a positive user experience. Saving time, money, and resources. If you create a product without the user in mind, it will result in very low adoption rates. If your product lacks usability, then your product will also have even lower retention rate. This will mean you will need to do an overhaul of the product and spend much more money on a redesign. Whereas a user-centered approach can save you time and money from the start. Next, we'll take a look on importance of user experience. UX design becomes indispensable by good design is not indispensable. Human could survive without quality thinking. Many business could survive without design experience for customer, users, or indeed employees. However, it is clear that good customer and user experience are strongly associated with successful business and the UX or CX, which is user experience, which is a customer experience. Lagardères are suffering, so it is a brighter and better world for all of us if you spend some time thinking about the poor soul who have to use your products. From a design perspective, UX is very bit as essential as the aesthetic component of a website. You could have the best looking online platform or app on the market, but if customers cannot quickly learn how to utilize it, they will leave it behind. Sleep UX plays vital role in the development of all digital resources. It con- its importance is increased when it comes to tools like website and applications, internet promotions for young enterprises, and some specific corporate tasks. For interact or in-depth websites, it is especially valuable because the target audience does need to be able to learn how to navigate online content as quick as possible. If the need for planned and careful throughout UX approaches is not acknowledged, it is likely that a website will become untidy, chaotic, and overly difficult to navigate. You should not forget to ask questions about the brand too. For example, does it stand up to those of rival companies? What does it actually say about the business it promotes? And could it say it more robust? In this diagram, you can see people people are nothing but users. If you go from right to the left, in green it says easy to learn, efficiency, effectiveness, error-free, engaging, easy of use. So this is what we are going to see. In regards to intricate online platforms, retail websites do trend to be some of the most complicated. They have two primary functions. The first is to provide potential customers with a satisfying browsing experience, and the second is to make purchasing products very simple and fast. The importance of UX is even bigger for young business and startup enterprises because they usually lack a robust reputation to fall back on. In fact, this chance at future success is generally pinned on the quality of their online platform as they provide potential customers with an enduring first impression. Right. The same principle can become associated with business who operate only small budgets. If you get your UX approaches right, they can be used to boost the speed of growth and expansion, making for large budget in the future. The truth is that a user makes the decision to accept or reject on online app or research within a second. You have to grab the attention fast and keep hold of it. Next, we'll see CPS hypothesis. CPS stands for Customer Problem Solution. Before the launches of a product and thoughts, measurement of user behavior, things is a hypothesis. Next, the CPS hypothesis is a basic description of any product. It teaches the core of any successful endeavor in a neat, minimalist way. Define who exactly your customer is, what problem they have, and what the solution is that you offer. Next, CPS hypothesis. If you have reached your target group and interviewed its members looking for a serious problem, it's about time to define the basics of your product in a triangle. Next, the CPS hypothesis forms the backbone of the whole product. If not, only helps to focus on what's really important, but also gets us ready for any optional pivot. Each part of the CPS hypothesis is questionable on its own. I might wrongly describe the target group. I could misunderstand a problem, or I could create a product that does not address the problem. Any of these mistakes gets your business into trouble. No worries through. If your product does not fly, you can always come back to the initial CPS and reform it to test new assumptions. A great UX experience can only be achieved iteratively, and the CPS hypothesis is a powerful tool that helps you draw a meaningful conclusion from each phase. Next, let us see to the proven the value. Before you can make a case for investing more time, money, or resources in UX, it's important to first assess the level of UX maturity that your company is currently at. That is, how willing are they to adopt UX practices and make it an integral part of the business function. Like if you have an understood of UX and it's important to long-term business success, that's great. But what if you or your CEO or upper management does not feel the same way? If your company is not on the level you think it should be, or you were simple want to progress to the next one, it might just be a case of giving management more reasons to invest in UX. Read on for some information you can use to do just that. Yes, to optimally integrate experience design is an organizational. It's helpful to first map out its maturity level. Let's see what all the maturity levels are. Now we are going to see the UX maturity model. First, unrecognized. UX is viewed as unimportant and necessary effort for business. Yes, you need to work hard to convey the business. You need to work hard to convey management. That's it. Worth their value. Next, interested. Your organization is aware of UX importance, but there are other barriers. It's just like your organization is aware of what UX is and why it's important, but there are other barriers like time, resource, and budget stopping full investment. Next, invested. UX is an important part of the business and user-centered process are formalized across teams starts making a case for adopting UX company-wide. Next, committed. UX is critical to the company and executives or upper management are actively involved. Next, engaged. UX is one of the core component of your overall business strategy. Next, embedded. UX is viewed into the fabric of everything the company does. We live and breathe UX. Next, still not convert, check out the statics. Let's check out some statics. ESPN.com revenues jumped 35% of after listening to their community and incorporating suggestions into their homepage design. Next, 16% of users gives up because they think you don't care about them. Then, slow loading website costs retailers cost lost sales each year. 38% of people will stop engaging with a website if the content or layout is unattractive. 48% of people cited a website design as the number one factor in deciding the credibility of a business. 50% developers spends of their time fixing avoidable issues. Every $1 invested in UX can have a return of up to $100 for your business. Let's see what else all we have. Challenging lives with UX design. By providing a great user experience for your user, not only can you increase the probability of them completing conversation tasks across your website or app, but you can challenge or change lives. Next, think about it for a moment. By making your interaction as simple as intuitive as possible, you are making your end user lives easier. And if your app or website is able to help your user complete their task or solve their problems as quick as possible, this will leave a lasting impression, one of which they will happily talk about to their friends and families. How UX approaches are constructed? Well, the progress must begin with the notion of cooperative creation. In other words, giving a broad range of specialists the challenge to work together with the shared objective of fixing challenges. Next, a top quality team will collaborate in order to create a mutually agreed upon set of objectives, visuals, principles, and many more. Next, it is important, for example, to consider how you want visitors to feel when they interact with certain types of website content. Do you want them to feel sympathy, delight, fear, guilt, affection, surprise, or shock? Let's see what's next. Now we'll learn what UX designers should consider. Here, as a UX designer, you should consider the why, what, and how of product use. The why involves the user's motivations for adopting a product, whether they relate to a task they wish to perform with it or to values and views which users associate with the ownership and use of the product. The what addresses the things people can do with a product, its functionality. Finally, the how related to the design of functionality in an accessible and aesthetical pleasant way. UX designer starts with the why before determining the what. And then finally, we have in order to create products that users can form meaningful experience with. In software design, you will need to ensure the product substance come through an existing device and offers a seamless, fluid experience. Let's see how. The why, what, and how of UX design. What says motivation, value, and views. Then it goes to what, functionality, and features. Then it goes to how, accessibility, and aesthetics. Next, let's see how UX approaches and constructed. Once you know what emotion each content component is intended to provoke, you can start to test their effectiveness. It is equally important at this stage to honestly decide whether or not the right emotion was stimulated, whether it was strong enough, what benefits it could have, and whether or not the experience should be considered a universal one for all users. Let's see what conclusion says. All major stakeholders in your company contribute in the process by performing their tasks and duties. User experience is a commitment to developing product and service with purpose, compassion, and integrity. UX is the only way you can retain your existing users and attract the new one in this competitive world. Businesses increasingly recognize that having apps and websites with an intuitive and functional user experience is not only crucial to their customers' happiness and satisfaction, it's also key to their company's brand and profitability. Next, the commercial reward of a good UX designer can be high, which means that UX designer can also attract very healthy salaries. All major stakeholders in your company contribute in the process by performing their tasks and duties. This is the only way you can retain your existing user and attract the new ones in this competitive world. Yes, now we had understood why UX is so important in this world for every organization and for everyone. I hope everyone had learned about why the UX is so important. Thank you.